Hello, everybody. Good morning from Pakistan and good evening from places where it's evening. I will be presenting the viral hepatitis elimination status in Pakistan, and I have no conflict of interest. And I'll tell you something about Pakistan, that we have a population of about 226 million people with almost 49% women, and about 3.5% million children are born every year. If we look at the hepatitis B surface antigen prevalence, the prevalence in children who are less than 5 years of age, it was 1.3% in 2008. And now, fortunately, it has dropped over these years. And the last year's 2019 survey showed that it's about 0.3%. The risk factors for hepatitis B in Pakistan are mostly the mother-to-child transmission, followed by the horizontal transmission due to unsafe blood transfusions and unsafe healthcare practices in the country. If we look at the hepatitis B vaccination coverage, the hepatitis B birth dose is not yet introduced in the expanded program for immunization. The third dose of pentavalent vaccine coverage is just 77%, and the coverage of the B vaccine in the healthcare workers is also low. It's just 60%. If we look at the occult hepatitis B, it's 0.5%, and the percentage of HBV mutants is 14% in a study done a couple of years back. If we look at the hepatitis C, in 2005, the prevalence of hepatitis C was 5%. And now in 2019, it has gone up to 7.5%. So there's a rise in the prevalence. At that time, we were the second highest prevalence country in the world. So I do not know, probably we might be now the first one. Our viremic rate is 4.3%, and with this, we have about 9.8 million people who need treatment. If you look at the risk factors, we see that the risk factors have been compared in the 2008 and 2019 surveys, and we see that they remain almost the same, with the highest risk factor being the unsafe blood, followed by hospitalizations, unsafe therapeutic injections, dental treatments, and surgery. Pakistan is producing the generic direct-acting antivirals. These are pan-genotypic drugs, and the cure rates are 96%. As per our guidelines, we use SOF and DECLA as the first line of treatment. And for those who do not respond or are resistant, we put them on Velpatasvir. Following these, we have also developed our hepatitis C national testing and treatment guidelines, and they are being developed with an intention to treat everyone. We calculate the APRI, and then using the APRI, we decide about the duration of therapy, and we do not do any genotyping. We do not do any quantification of the PCR, and we do not do any fibroscan. So by and large, we save about $175 per patient through the national guidelines, treatment and testing guidelines. This is the cascade of care that you are all aware of. This is the WHO's cascade of care, where they want that almost 90% of the people who have the disease should be diagnosed. And then 90% of those who are diagnosed, they should be treated. And then those who are treated, almost 90% of those should have been cured. So this is the data of 2017, and it says that globally only 20% of the population have so far been diagnosed, and only less than 8% have been put to treatment. So generally, globally, the cascade of care is not what is expected of to achieve the 2030 elimination goals. If you look at the cascade of care for Pakistan, this was developed by the Center for Data Analysis, Homi Razavi and their group for Pakistan. As of 2020, we have about 9.8 million people who have hepatitis C. And of these, only 22%, which is about 2 million, who have been diagnosed. And of these, only 2% have been put to treatment. But the good thing is that all those who have been put to treatment, about 96% have been cured. So there's a huge gap between the people who need to be diagnosed and those who need to be treated. Then the CDA also did modeling for us to find out as to how and when can we achieve the hepatitis C elimination targets, because the deadline is 2030. So they showed by doing the modeling, they showed that if we continue to do what we have been doing so far, Pakistan would not be able to achieve any of the 4 WHO targets. Our treatment coverage would not be 80%. The diagnosis would be low, and the reductions in the new infection would be low. So, by and large, Pakistan would not be able to achieve the elimination. So, taking notice of this problem, the Prime Minister of Pakistan has decided to launch a hepatitis C elimination program for the next 10 years. And in this program, 50% of the population shall be checked in the next 5 years, and another 50% in the 26 to the 2030 years. And by and large, you see that almost about 6 to 9 million people have to be screened every year, and this screening has to go up to really achieve the screening of almost 170 million people. So when this Prime Minister's program calculations were shared with the Homi Razavi and their group, and they were able to showcase that using the Prime Minister's program for the hepatitis C elimination, we would be able to reduce the mortality by 65%. We will be able to achieve the 80% treatment coverage, and we should be able to achieve the 90% diagnosis for the population. But still, the new infections would not be reduced. So out of the 4 targets, we would be able to achieve the 3, but not the new infections. So they suggested that we need to really work hard and develop a very active program for the reduction of the new infections. And these new infections, which are currently at about 5%, they need to really be scaled up and prevented by 20 to 30% every year. And using this, Homi Razavi and their group showed that, by increasing the hepatitis C prevention targets and implementing the Prime Minister's program, Pakistan should be able to have 90% diagnostic coverage, 80% treatment coverage, 65% reduction in the mortality, and 80% reduction in the new infections. And by this, we should be able to achieve the WHO targets. Along with this, Pakistan would be able to avert almost about 353,000 cumulative disability adjusted life years by 2030. And this is more in men than in women. And this is of great importance for the policymakers and for the health providers. We have many challenges, and one of the most known challenge is that almost 80% people are unaware of their infection. So they do not access care and treatment, and they continue to develop complications and transmit the disease. So there's a need for hepatitis B and C screening all over the country at a very large scale. The gaps or the problems are that we have issues of how to bring out the populations for screening because it's a large population of 120 million who fall into these categories of being screened. Then this is the virus testing, which is a nucleic acid testing. It is expensive. It is confined to the tertiary care sites. It's cumbersome. So there's a need to have a simple point of care diagnostic test so that these people can be diagnosed and treated at their community level. Then, although the COVID has delayed the launch of the Prime Minister's program, but there have been some successes following this COVID response. And what we see is that this COVID response has led to a great coordination between the provinces and the federal capital. There's a huge increase in the capacity to undertake the PCRs. There's electronic data sharing between the provinces and the national level. So we strongly feel that all these can be integrated into the hepatitis C elimination program when it is launched. Thank you very much.